Ay, ay, ay. Children. You have a witch
Hey.
hat.
Yeah.
That's adorable. Look at you.
Hold on,
Where'd
I
you get
gotta
it?
turn up the dollar
Oh,
store like 2 years ago.
no kidding.
Yeah.
And it held up all these years.
Yeah, because I haven't
These few
used it.
years.
Okay.
Look, 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 look.
Cute.
This is like show and tell.
That's
So
awesome.
April got me this sweater for our 1 year anniversary. And it says future ghost written on the front. So if you're a Patreon member, you can see this. If you're not, sad to be you. You'll never
That
get to
sucks.
see it. You have to just imagine it with your brain.
And for our 1 year thing, Katie got me this true crime atlas, which I'm really excited to read because I already have seen some I haven't heard of before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know
It,
what I didn't pay attention to? Is it like international or is it just within the US?
let's
Like, are
see.
the stories? I didn't actually look
It
at it
says
that closely.
worldwide guide
Oh, worldwide.
to
Okay.
murderers, thieves, kidnappers, and con men.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a ton of and it's like quick snippets. It has like pictures included in it. So I'm
Yes, I
like,
thought that you would want more something pretty to look at than to actually sit and read.
yeah, I'm kind of excited because it gives me some ideas for my
On
words
deck
on deck
desk.
at desk stories.
Yeah, and that's
So I
kind of what I was
appreciate it.
thinking. Just to kind of alleviate that a little bit, that you can
Hmm.
literally just whip out a book and be like, ah, here's something, you
Like,
know?
let's turn the page to, oh, we're gonna
Or
do,
like, who's the creepiest looking one?
yeah, who has the worst face?
Oh, I wanted to move this. Oh, geez. Why am I moving
Anyway, I'm excited.
it? Well, good.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on just a second.
Okay.
Sorry, Mitch isn't home yet, and I've been
Oh,
telling the kids to go inside, and they've come out 3 times
it's
before
okay.
we even started recording.
That's all right.
So,
I'm surprised you put the words all across instead of on top of each other. Do you like it that way?
yes, only because, like, I feel like this way, I don't know. I
I
have
kind
this
of,
thing.
I didn't picture it that way, but I kind of like it because, like, when
Like,
someone says, "What does your shirt say?" You don't have to like say, "Look at my chest."
right.
It's like, oh, you know,
Well, not only that, but like, I don't want people to like sit and look at my chest. Like, I just have this weird thing about like things that like attract people to look at me, you know? So I feel like if it's this way, like if they look, they're like, oh, it just says something. They don't
and
actually try to read it.
I know the
And then I can be
size is
like,
too big, but I personally like
oh,
my sweaters baggy.
it's so comfy. I
Okay,
was gonna
good.
ask, is this from Target?
Target,
This
yeah,
sweater?
yeah.
Jeez.
It
No, it's
looks
a good
like
thing you
all.
went up in size because my arms are extremely long.
See, that's what I was worried about the small because I knew that you would have probably fit the small because Target usually runs their stuff a little bit bigger,
Oh, okay.
like their sweatshirts anyways.
Hmm.
Because I've gotten a small in a sweater at their whatever.
Yeah.
But your arms are way longer than mine. And so
Yeah.
I
Have
know
we
that,
talked about that on
yeah,
the pod yet?
I think so.
Okay.
But I have midget arms.
Yes.
They're an inch each short of what they
Yeah.
should be. And then Katie's are an inch
Yeah.
longer than they should
Yeah.
be.
Which is so
So
weird.
it is really weird. I think it's hilarious, but I'm
Yeah.
glad it's comfy because I bought
Yes.
myself one too.
You did?
Yeah,
It's super cute. Have you put words on it?
not yet. I
No.
think I'm gonna put the future ghost on it too because
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious.
It's really cute. I was debating whether or not to put it here or like on the back and like
Oh,
across
on the
my back.
back. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. That'd be
But I was
cute.
like, do I want people to look at my butt? I, no.
Well, I like it.
If you're
I
gonna
like
look
it.
at me, I want to see you look at me. You
You
know?
should take a selfie with your little pumpkin behind you and
Oh,
your
okay.
new
Let me do that really
sweater,
quick. Hold on.
because we're gonna have to put something on Instagram.
Something. Hold on. Mm, what should I do with my hair? It's backwards. It's mirrored.
Does yours not?
Hold
Did
on.
you get the picture I did?
On Instagram?
No.
Yeah, it's mirrored. What the heck? How do I make it not mirrored? I need someone to take a picture of me. I guess.
Oh, that probably just because it's hard to like see it all at
Yeah.
once. And you could be like,
Hey, Saturday. I'll wear
yeah,
this on Saturday.
okay, yeah,
We'll do
we'll
that.
do something. I plan to have stuff up, like decorations. I really, really want to make silhouettes of the Sanderson sisters with wood and
Oh,
put
that's a good
like
idea.
the Halloween colored lights behind it. And
Yeah,
then people could take pictures with it. And then I could also have it for like my own decoration.
I like that idea.
We'll see if I can actually do it. Someone's in trouble. Purge. Muted.
Cal- Calming breaths is all I need right now.
Aren't they not entertained by movies these days? My goodness.
They're not. They're not. That's the thing. I feel like they've seen everything. That's the problem. I've come to realize. This is my
Mm-hmm.
little tangent. I'm sorry, everybody. Welcome to episode 29. This is going
Oh,
to be
yeah.
a long one.
Yeah.
So just buckle up or just hit like ×2 and listen to us on fast forward. Anyway, but the problem with like Disney Plus, Netflix, all these things is that all these kids get to watch whatever they want all the time.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Oh, so what do you want to watch?" Like, "Well, I've already seen that. I've already seen that."
They're bored
You know what
with
I mean?
everything now. Yeah.
Yeah, like when we were kids, it's like, "Oh, sweet, you have that movie? Like, let's
Yeah.
watch it." You know, like when we watched Now and Then with Taylor
Yeah.
growing
There
up.
was like we only watched Now and Then at Taylor's house
Yeah,
because
and
we
it
didn't
was like,
have it and
right.
like it was never on TV. And
Hmm.
so when we went over there, that was like our sleepover movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, so it doesn't really work to sit them in front of a movie anymore because they've seen everything.
Hmm. What can you do?
YouTube. Now they're
Yeah.
just watching like random people on YouTube, I guess.
That's
So,
that's a rough one. I worry about that one.
yeah.
My kids watch like Minecraft stuff on, I don't know if it's YouTube. It's like the kids something on Roku.
Mm,
I don't know what it is, but
kids channel.
it's just like a Minecraft videos that teach them how to play the games. And I'm like, oh, you guys are so lame. Like go outside and do something.
Yeah, no. Ugh, jeez.
But for those who want an update, I survived my maid of honor speech.
Yes, April, tell us about your speech. We are all dying to know how you felt it went. And then I'll tell
I
you how it actually went.
actually hated it after I
What?
did it.
Okay, sorry. Go
My
ahead.
some of the stuff I said I thought would land differently. Like some things I thought were funny and people didn't laugh. And then other things that I didn't think would be funny, people laughed. And
Oh.
so, and so I was like, okay, like
You're
this
like,
is
where is my humor at?
I know. I don't know what I'm saying. Pat. Well, anyway, but I think
Yeah.
right after I was like really worried because I thought that I said things in a weird way that didn't come across how I intended them to. And then I did skip a section because I lost my place. That was
Oh,
a little bit
really?
more like sentimental and like
Mm.
more feelings instead of like roasting them.
Oh,
Um, or roasting me and Josh or roasting either of them. Anyway, um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I thought it was okay. I was worried about it, but then luckily, I'm glad that you recorded it because
Yeah.
then I was able to go back and listen to it. And like, I listened to it and I was like, oh, that's so cringy. But then, and then Josh was like, you were mean to me the whole time. And I was like, I didn't mean to do that. It was just like, I made fun of myself. I made fun of Josh. I made fun of Jordan and I made fun of Corey because
Yeah.
it's just like how
How
everyone
you
is.
guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, uh, I was worried that it came across as me just like sitting there being a bitch to Josh. And then um like and then he said I came across as like needy and desperate. And I was like,
No,
oh
no,
no. Oh
no.
no.
No,
And
you did
so
not.
after
No,
I
you did
talked to
not.
you and I talked to Mitch, like I felt better about it. And then I listened to it again and I was like, you know what? It was fine. Like it was my first
Yeah.
one. I'm
Yeah.
probably never gonna do it again, and it was fine.
Mhm.
But I did
Right.
text Jordan and I was like, hey, just so you know, I skipped a whole section because I lost my place and I was nervous to go back and sound like an idiot. So I was just like, just so you know, I love you and everything is amazing. But yeah,
Yeah. You
anyway,
know what? Don't worry about it. The most important thing was them on that day,
right.
right? And your message to them, it was heartfelt, it was great. And who
I
cares if
tried.
people didn't laugh at your jokes? I feel bad too because I'm like, crap, maybe I didn't laugh because like I was so focused on recording because okay, guys, I was like 5 hurricanes in. So I was at a category 5, one might say. So
Katie
I
was
was just
pretty
I
tipsy.
was I was focused on trying to hold the camera still that I wonder if I'm like, crap, maybe I was crickets when I shouldn't have been. I was probably a bad audience member, but no, you did great. You did a
Well,
great
when I
job.
said, and then she met this guy, everyone laughed so hard. And I was like, why is that funny? Like,
I think it's I don't know.
I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint why that was funny and other things were not funny.
You know, I think that you just have a higher level of humor.
Listen, I'm funnier and no
Yeah,
one
you are
understands.
funnier. Right.
It's fine. It's
Yep.
fine. But
Right.
no, it was good and it wasn't as I wasn't as nervous as I thought I would be. Like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't crumble under the pressure, which I expected kind of. Like
Yeah.
I expected to either like blubber where no one could
Yeah.
hear me, or I expected to like totally cave and just say I can't do this
Right.
because I was so scared. But when I got up there and like I didn't look at anybody specifically, like I kind of scanned the room and acted like no
Mhm.
one was there. And I
Yeah.
think that helped, but I wish I would have like looked at Jordan and Corey more, like I was talking
Mhm.
to them and not like anyway, there's just things I wish I would have done differently, but
I
I
don't know.
think it turned out okay.
See, and I remember it in my version of my memory. Your speech was just great. I don't know. Like, I don't think it was bad. I wouldn't overanalyze it, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think that you got up there, you did a great job. I really liked how you, like, I told you this, but I like how you were able to be like, if you don't know Jordan,
Oh
then
yeah.
this is how she is, like
Yeah.
that was nice because a lot of people might not know Jordan or might not know Corey and like
Right.
yeah. And then beyond that, if they didn't understand the humor with certain things, it's because they literally don't know you guys and your humor.
Right.
That's why our circle is small, right?
Right. And it keeps
So,
getting smaller.
and it keeps shrinking by the day. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so it was good. Like all
It
the
was good.
bridesmaids were really like everyone got along, which I was surprised because half of them were
Yeah.
sisters. So I
Uh-huh.
thought there would be a little bit more tension or like fighting or
Mhm.
bickering, but everyone got along really good and I was excited
Good.
about that. Like it was
Yeah.
just chill. It was a good time. The wedding went really fast. And I was
It
kind of
did.
sad because I wanted to linger in some of the things, but
I just wish we were able to dance more. That was my
I
only
know.
thing. That's the only
Well,
thing.
like the makeup took way longer than we thought it would, and I think that cut into a lot of other
Mm,
things. So
mm,
yeah,
gotcha.
but it was amazing. Jordan and Corey
Yep.
had one of the most beautiful weddings I've ever been to,
Yes.
literally aside from Maui, because I think you can't beat it. I just don't
No,
think you
you
can
can.
beat it. So
No, I
like
love that.
the chillness of Maui and like how you just have natural like
Hmm.
scenery. Oh,
Just
the
people on
best.
the beach.
Yeah, but I thought their wedding turned out really nice. So
Yes, it did. It was
yeah.
great. It was beautiful. The food was good. The music was good.
Mm.
It was all good.
I'm surprised I haven't froze yet.
Yeah. Hey, oh, did you get a new modem?
No, I
Oh,
just put the extender thingy in a different spot.
hmm. Maybe it's your witch hat just sends a better signal.
Maybe it's the vibes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm less frustrated. So like it's just working out. Watch, I just
Right.
jinked us. Knock on wood.
All right. Oh,
Did it?
hey, I wanted to light a ceremonial candle.
Okay.
There's two here. One for me, one for you.
Don't let them tip over.
They shouldn't. But these are like old antique candlesticks that I got from Savers like
Cool.
years ago. They're probably haunted. I love them though, because they're like iron.
So let's light it on fire.
Yeah. And these, hold on.
Oh,
These
look.
candles are the ones that you get from Walmart, and as it burns, it looks like it's bleeding. Isn't that so cool? It's $2.
I was gonna say, oh, look, it's my will to live. It's on fire.
Although
Just kidding.
it's like dwindling. Hold on. Ah. Well, this one does not want to light.
That's the one. That's me. That's my.
Ah.
I don't know. Who do you think is more stubborn out of the two of us? I'd say you.
Yeah. I'm way more stubborn. Okay, well, here's to the next year.
Yeah. Woo.
Woohoo! So we'll just watch those candles bleed if you're on
Here, we
Patreon.
can do
If you're
this.
not, oh,
Toast to the next year.
April's got her cute little Halloween mug that we have seen before. I have Powerade because I just forgot to plan ahead again. I just grabbed what was in the fridge and I was like, this will work.
Yeah, it'll work just fine. Okay, listen, I have iced coffee, Reese's flavor, and I had very high expectations.
Hmm. Hey,
Not
do you
great.
want to know do you guys want to know a really good, listen here, a really good fall whiskey drink
Not a
that
whiskey drinker, but I'll listen.
I made this one up. Maybe it's out there, but I just mixed it one day because that's just what was in the fridge, and I am in love. Okay, porter porter fire, I think it's called, or porter whiskey. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
they have a peanut butter cup flavored one. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup flavored one.
Yeah.
Mix that with cream soda.
Hmm.
It is so good.
I love cream soda though. Like I'm
And I
a
don't really
fan.
like cream soda,
No?
but that's why I was like, well, I guess I'll drink cream soda. And I'm like, is there anything I can put in it?
A
It's like, oh, here's some
whiskey.
whiskey. Yeah, so I just mixed it and I was like, this is actually really good. So try
Nice.
it out. Try it out if
I like
if you
it.
got it. Hmm.
You know what I started watching?
What?
Sorry. We're just gonna take a million years for this, but
It's
I
okay.
started watching Intervention. They have one season on Netflix.
What is that?
It's literally episodes of people who think they're like addicts that are think that they're on a what is it called? A documentary about addiction. And
Okay.
it's really their family is setting up an intervention.
Hmm.
And so everyone's being interviewed and like we're telling the story of this person who's an addict. And then at
Hmm.
the very end, they do the intervention and they
Yeah.
read their letters and stuff and have a bottom line. Like, if you don't go get help, then like you're cut off. Or if you don't go get help, like I have to change my lock so you're not invited in my home anymore. Whatever,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's only 6 episodes on Netflix right now, but I was like,
Really?
this is crazy.
So
I
is like each episode a different person, like a
Yeah.
different case or different
Yeah,
whatever?
and they're only like 30 minutes long.
Mm.
But I was like, when my kids are like preteens, like 13, I'm gonna have them watch it to scare the shit out of them because
Mm-hmm.
people get scars on their faces, like
Yeah.
what these hard drugs can do to you.
Right.
Like and some of them have started at as early as 12
That's so
years
sad.
old.
It's like, where are these kids getting it from?
Just they find bad friends who have parents who do it or have older siblings who do it. Like,
Ugh,
and then they're just,
horrible.
it makes me so sad. Anyways, but I'm like, yeah, my kids are going to be freaking watching this when they're 13
Mm-hmm.
because how else are you going to scare the shit out of them to not do
Yeah.
drugs? Ugh.
Honestly though, there's a few educational videos that like stuck with my brain that
Mm-hmm.
scared me out of DUIs and uh like STDs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like protected sex,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Like there's some videos out there that'll really haunt you.
Yeah. They really get you. They're like, I don't know. I just think that that's a good tool that I'm going to hold in my pocket
Fear.
until
Yes.
once I need it, my kids are gonna be like, Mom, why are you making me watch this? Like, because it's
Like, sit
this,
down.
yeah. Don't move, stare right
Take
at the
notes. There's a
TV.
quiz after.
Right.
You're gonna look at each face and tell me which addict is what.
Yeah.
Addicted to what.
Right. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I started watching that and then that's kind of it because I've been kind of busy, but good
Mhm.
stuff.
That sounds crazy. You know, I've been watching
What?
is we should like make this a new little segment. What I've been watching is, what is it called? Oh, I Survived a Crime. Have you seen that on
Yeah, I
Netflix?
want to watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's good. I would say that it's low budget. There's
Okay.
there's a few things that like they say or
Hmm.
like that happen that you're like, really?
Right.
But that made it through
Right. The
somehow.
I think sometimes like they just need to kind of fill in and like it's like buffer information that's like not important.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Aw,
Look at this.
so
I'm helping
sweet.
you. Thank you.
And she got it for you, and then I just gave it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Love you.
How's Aspen's face?
Oh, Aspen. So last night, okay, so this morning, I'll just tell you what happened. This morning, she wakes up and goes upstairs and sees that her face is like super swollen and like her
Mhm.
right eye, was it her right? Yeah, her right eye was like super swollen, like almost swollen shut.
Yeah.
And she like freaks out and starts crying. She comes down to make us down in my office. And she was like freaking out and she's like, something's wrong with my face. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I've seen that before with Luke, where like his whole face was super swollen. He was like 3 or 4 years old and he woke up that way and it was just allergies, like
Oh
seasonal
yeah.
allergies. Like it's just like it's in his pillowcase or whatever. And we just have to make sure to wash his sheets often.
Yeah.
And so I told Aspen, I'm like, oh, it's probably just allergies. So I gave her an allergy pill. And then she started to like get a little rash, like right here, like under her eyes. So I gave her some hydrocortisone cream, kept her home from school. And then all day, like this rash is just like spread all over her face. And like the swelling's gone down. So like her eyes look almost normal now. But like
Yeah.
this rash is just all over and like getting into her ears and down her neck. And I'm like, so anyway, then I called April and I'm like, hey, how about we record when I get back from the urgent care because Aspen has a rash spreading quickly. So anyway, and blistering too. Like she had little blisters like right here by her nose.
Yeah.
So go to the doctor and doctor says that it was basically a contact dermatitis or something like that, basically means that whatever she touched, she was allergic to, and then she touched her face and it got into her like nose and eyes and stuff, and then just kind of spread.
But they couldn't, I mean, obviously they can't really tell you what it is unless she gets like tested for it, right?
I guess. So that's what the doctor said. She was like, well, you know, if you don't know exactly what she was allergic to, then there's really no way of knowing. You can just kind of like retrace her steps and kind of figure it out. She's like, but otherwise, I'm just gonna give you this steroid cream and send you on your way.
Anyway,
So yeah, the wedding went good. Your speech went good.
yeah,
How
yeah.
was your weekend? What'd you do?
I literally did nothing. The wedding wore me out, or like the anticipation of the speech kind of wore me out because I think I was just putting so much on like pressure on myself to do that. So anyway, the whole weekend I literally did zero things. I didn't clean, I didn't do anything. I just literally laid in bed and watched TV for 2 days. What's that?
Straight at like 100 miles per hour.
Oh, I can't hear you. The wind is getting in the.
Should I go inside? Okay, mic check. Check.
Yeah, I can hear you until like randomly it just decides the wind doesn't want to let me hear you. My story is pretty short because I thought that our intro would be way longer.
That's okay.
So my story is pretty short today, but a lot of my information came from like Salt Lake Tribune, True Crime Daily, Herald Extra, Fox 13, KSL TV, and those things.
Nice.
Okay. On Friday, July 8th, 2022, so it's a recent one again. At 6:30 a.m., police responded to a call at 1200 North, 400 East in Spanish Fork, Utah. A body of a middle-aged man had been found next to a dumpster.
Oh.
Spanish Fork Fire Department and EMS officials pronounced him dead at the scene. The body was severely beaten and stabbed, so obviously the police determined this death was suspicious and began investigating it as a homicide.
Yeah.
The body of the man was later identified as 49-year-old Ryan Hooley. Ryan Hooley was a father to 5 children. I didn't see whether or not he was married. It looks like he was kind of on and off again with one of his partners.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if she was the mother to all 5 children or not. So I'm unsure. Though he made some bad choices in his life that led him to spending some time in the homeless community. But he was hoping to turn his life around before he was murdered. He was described as goofy, caring, and a harmless guy. Spanish Fork Police Department were still looking on establishing a suspect after interviewing any witnesses that they could find. But then the next morning, they got a call from the Ogden Police Department, about 90 miles away.
Never go to Ogden.
No.
Kidding. Sorry, Ogden people. I didn't mean to offend you.
Just kind of like Kearns.
It's just kind of like I would say it's worse than Kearns.
You think?
I would think. I think.
Oh, the wind is not letting me hear you. Try that.
Ogden.
Yeah.
Ogden is a portal to hell.
I genuinely think. What?
I should go inside.
When you block the wind from your mic, it works. So I don't know if you have like a. Do you have like
I
a
have
cutting?
that thing.
Yeah. Or do you have like a cutting board or something that like you could just hold up next to you that would block the wind from it?
No, I'm towards 30.
Or a plate?
Probably.
Oh, cute.
There's a storm coming in, I think.
Yeah, I see rain clouds, but I don't know if they're coming my
It's
way.
gonna be lightning for the next until 9 o'clock. Until 9 o'clock.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, if you need to relocate, you can,
Well,
unless you feel okay for now.
as long as like you can hear me and this is going smoothly, then we're
I can,
good.
yeah, I can hear you pretty consistently now.
Okay, I'm just gonna hold this plate right here then.
So the Spanish Fork Police Department. Oh, that's a lot of words. Okay. They got a call from Ogden and they said, "Hey, we have a suspicious death and we have some information for you." So let me tell you about that.
Okay.
So Ogden is 90 miles away from Spanish Fork. Okay, completely different counties. It's like Ogden is it all the way north of Utah, and then there's Salt Lake, and then there's like Orem, and then Spanish Fork is south of Orem. Provo,
Right.
whatever. You know what I'm saying. People who
Mhm.
are listening who aren't from here don't know what I'm saying, but it's not really that important. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways,
Different counties,
but
but not that close.
right. So on July 9th, the next day after the Spanish Fork situation,
Mhm.
Ogden Police Department detained Christian Taele, sorry, at an apartment complex on 2433 Adams Avenue. After a witness told police, they called police and said, "Hey, I saw this guy Christian Taele. He went up to another guy and started kicking and strangling him with a rope. During the struggle, Taele dragged the victim into the gym and hanged him by the neck."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So police went to the apartment
Jeez.
complex and detained Taele and then found in the gym a beaten body of a 23-year-old man hanging from gym equipment and immediately transported him to the hospital.
Wow. And
The
this was
victim,
recent?
yeah. This is like literally in July.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. I had to add to our story.
Oh,
So the
that's
police get there at like
insane.
7:10 p.m. Okay. The call was at 7. They're there within a few minutes. And I
Whoa.
believe so they got there, they found Taele first, detained him, and then went into the gym and found this man, 23-year-old, what's his name? 23-year-old Tyler. Where did it just go? Hold on a second. Okay, Tyler Bellinti. Okay, Tyler Bellinti. They took him down, realized he was still alive, and immediately transported him to the hospital. Immediately Taele, so Christian Taele, the guy who did this to Tyler, he admitted to doing that to Tyler, as well as the victim, Ryan Hooley, in Spanish
Oh,
Fork.
interesting.
He was like, "Yeah, I did it. You'll be surprised why, though."
Okay.
Hold on.
That's nuts.
Let me back up a sec because I wanted to talk about Tyler a little bit. So the victim, 23-year-old Tyler Bellinti, he grew up in a Navajo Nation town in Arizona. He moved to Utah to attend the Job Corps in Clearfield and he studied machining and later graduated. He was about to turn 24 and had hopes of getting his own apartment and his own car. Of course, before his life was ended randomly. He was in critical condition and was initially hospitalized without any brain activity, which we know is a bad sign.
Oh my
A
gosh.
witness told police, oh, let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Hold on. I re-said the same exact thing. Okay. So Taele was taken in for questioning and immediately confessed to killing both Ryan Hooley and Tyler Valenti. Taele had no relationship to either victim. He did not know them, had never had a conversation with them. It was completely random. He said he killed both victims because he was directed by a higher power to purge the city.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And
Oh,
he
no.
even stated that he had no remorse for what he did.
What?
Yeah. Which is
So
interesting.
he felt like it was out of duty.
Yeah. He felt like he had to
Oh
clean the
gosh.
city of people.
That's scary.
That's a scary mindset. Like, I think about the actual Purge movie, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that is terrifying to have that mindset. Luckily, it's just this one guy. I mean, I'm sorry that like there were victims at all, but at least it was
Yeah.
a group of people who had this purge mentality and wreaked havoc on the city. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. Oh my gosh,
So
that is
scary.
so scary.
Right.
Well, it makes me think about like the QAnon stuff going on, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, what if they are motivated to do something in a mass way?
Yeah.
That's so scary.
Yeah, because you could get a group of like-minded people who think
Mob
the
mentality,
scariest
right?
things, and I mean, they can hurt a lot of people, you know? But it's just so far as I could tell by my research, it was just him and his own delusions. It was not a group of people that I could tell that he was involved with that put these ideas in his head. It screams mental illness to me, and you'll see why.
Okay.
So Christian Taele had almost no criminal history prior to the random killing spree he was going on, other than some traffic violations. He was a football star at Spanish Fork High School in 2011 and attended SUU, which is Southern Utah University, from 2012 to 2013, where he played football and studied for a degree in mathematics. I'm not 100% sure where he was after 2013 to now. It seems like he got married and had a couple kids and just had a regular job. But just a month before these attacks happened, his ex filed for divorce and they had 2 kids together. So his family dynamic kind of fell apart.
Yeah, life stressors.
In my head, I think that was his trigger. I bet he struggled with mental illness before that, and that just kind of sent him into a psychosis, which does not excuse anything, but that's just like what I'm coming up with as to why this even happened in the first place.
Right.
2 days after his divorce was final, Christian Taele was arrested because he didn't pay a UTA frontrunner fare, and he assaulted 2 of the officers who were trying to take him into custody. So I guess they were like asking him for his information and he refused to give them their name or anything because he was like, they're like, hey, you have to pay in order to use this. And he was like being aggressive. And so they detained him. And in that process, he assaulted both officers. He was eventually charged just later that month, or sorry. When he was detained and went into jail, he was charged with a 3rd-degree felony of disarming a police officer with an energy device, which I think is a taser. 3rd-degree felony, propelling a substance at an officer, which threw some liquid in their face, which is not okay because you never know what's in it, right?
Right.
And a Class B misdemeanor, interference with an arresting officer. So he got into a tussle with some UTA officers and kind of was he had like a $5,000 bail, and he paid it, and he left a couple days after he was in jail. But the officers didn't really put a flag on him to say he's a danger to society or anything like that. They're just like, sure, he's aggressive or whatever, but they weren't super concerned about him being a danger to other people.
Right. Okay.
So he got into a little bit of trouble, but no one would have guessed that he would have committed such a random violent crime.
Right.
Though a thread on Reddit did point out, and I didn't think of it until I read it, that he, with having a high school / college career in football, he could have had concussions that affected his frontal lobe or whatever, that could, like, with the trauma of his divorce or whatever, could have triggered something, some part of his brain that's damaged with either decision making or thinking clearly or whatever.
Yeah.
That's possible that could be an issue with this, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Makes
but,
sense to me.
Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't realize how much a concussion, because I honestly I didn't know how much a concussion can really affect you. I kind of thought of it as like, oh, you just got knocked around a little bit and you passed out and whatever, but it's
Right.
like it can be pretty serious, and I never knew that, like, until I don't remember what it was. I think I watched some kind of YouTube something about a football player, like a professional football player that had all these concussions and later had like a stroke from them, like from his how many concussions he had.
Wow, that's so scary.
But and
it's like, how do they allow football these days?
I know, like, with how many injuries people get, I'm surprised people even play in general, which is, I mean, I'm assuming why a lot of parents don't let their kids play football, but
right.
Yeah, because it can be pretty dangerous.
Totally. Well, and I was telling Mitch that, like, we were just watching the 49ers play the Broncos, I think it was, and their quarterback, the 49ers quarterback, have you seen him?
No.
Jimmy G. Oh, he is a gorgeous human being. Okay. I'm sorry, but he is. Whew. Anyway, so he came on the screen and Mitch was like, "You think he's hot, huh?" I'm like, I mean, yeah, but I'm like, what's crazy though is that, like, he doesn't have any like scuffs, you know?
You're like,
how
you
does he
should look
get
more
to
damaged.
right? Well, so I said to him, like, I was like, he looks like he hasn't been through it, and he's a football, like an NFL quarterback, like at a professional level. Don't you think you've like been through it?
Like he'd have some
So
scars or something.
yeah, so I told Mitch, I'm like, I thought he was just like the coach's son, like all the way up through the NFL. And anyway, that's my tangent.
You know what? I watched a TikTok of this lady. I can't remember her name, but she was talking about football coaches. She's like, I don't watch football, but this is why I watch football, because she was saying like a lot of coaches are now super attractive. And she's like, when I think of a football coach, I think of like a middle-aged dude, kind of has a like a beer belly and whatever. But she's like, she put up some pictures of like NFL football coaches, and she's like, they have no business being this attractive. But she was like, I definitely will be watching football from now on. But I thought
It makes you wonder though, like if they do pick pretty people just because it's all entertainment, you know?
Well, and that's what she was saying. She's like, is this because like the football like views or whatever have gone down or something, so they have to get like the girls and the gays in for the coaches? Whatever.
Yeah.
It made me laugh, but I was like, seriously though, they're pretty good looking, some good looking dudes.
Oh, if you have time, look up Jimmy G.
I will.
right now.
Yeah.
You should. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Okay.
Jimmy G. What team is he on?
49ers.
49ers. Okay. He kind of reminds me of your childhood crush, Chandler,
Really?
in a
Hold
little,
on. Hold
bit.
on. Hold on. Let me look this up.
You have a type.
I have a type. Hold on.
Don't you think? Like the olive skin and the dark hair.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
We're way off topic.
It's fine.
Go on with your story. It's okay. Don't worry about what
Anyways,
else.
football players are attractive, but their brains are all messy.
Right. Concussions are the real deal.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Sorry.
is it worth it?
Is it? Yeah. Is it worth it? Really?
Is it
I
worth
mean,
it?
the money might be worth a few brain jumbles, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you're successful at
Yeah.
knocking your head against somebody
I
else's
mean,
head.
people get scholarships, people get, you know, but
Yeah.
if you get a scholarship and your brain doesn't work right, then like it's useless. Okay, sorry. Blah blah blah. So he had concussions. Okay, so Taele was officially booked into Weber County Jail on July 11th on the charge of aggravated attempted murder, the first degree felony. So he wasn't yet charged with this Spanish Fork murder yet. I'm assuming it's just a different process because they're in different counties. And so he was in Weber. So they were charging him with the Weber County attempted murder because at the time Tyler was still hospitalized. So 2 days later, July 13th, Tyler passed away from his injuries, and authorities then amended the charge to 1 count of aggravated murder, which is also still a first degree felony.
Of course, that's what he expected, though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when people do these crimes, it just makes me think it's like, what did you expect was gonna happen? You're gonna get away with it,
Right.
you know? So like when they get all these things piled on top, it's like, yeah, like what did you expect? Like, of course. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, like you're gonna have consequences when you do stuff like why don't people think about that?
Right.
Like, did
It's
he
like, do you
not
think that things are gonna be better after you do something like that?
right? Your life isn't gonna be great after you murder somebody.
No.
And you're
Never.
not gonna, I mean, even if you got away with it for a second, you still have the looking over your shoulder all the time, and you still have the like every time you hear a siren, is it coming for you? Like
And
I
then the guilt,
yeah,
you
and
know?
well, if you're a
Yeah.
horrible
If
person, really, you're thinking about it
something else.
selfishly if you've killed somebody.
Right.
But yeah, like okay.
Like, how does that solve any of your problems?
I really think murder in general is just selfish desire
Yeah.
of any kind. Like you think about it, even people who like murder others out of revenge, right?
Mhm.
It's a selfish thing to say, you did this to me, you took someone away from me, so I'm going to kill you. That's a selfish thing. It's
Right.
not revenge for the person who passed away because the person who passed away is no longer here. And
Mhm.
they likely would not want you then to go and do that and then get in trouble.
Because it doesn't fix anything.
No, it doesn't. The
Yeah.
only thing that you could do is like make sure they get justice with, the court system and whatever,
Yeah.
which I know sometimes isn't always the case, that they don't
Mhm.
always get the sentencing that they deserve and all that stuff. But
Right.
like do something better with your time. Like don't go and, do
Make it worse.
the same crime and then get the same punishment.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's tangents for days. Okay. So Taele's sister wrote an email to the judge before he went to court stating that the family will accept whatever sentencing the court sees fit, but hopes that they understand the allegations are sorry, let me start that over.
Okay.
Taele's sister wrote an email to the judge before he went to court stating that the family will accept whatever sentencing the court sees fit and that they understand the allegations are heinous, but they just don't understand how Christian ended up here. She mentioned she was concerned about his mental health and asked for treatment for whatever has caused him to change so quickly and drastically. She said, quote, I'm not asking for leniency or sympathy for Christian. I'm asking for mental health care and psychiatric attention in addition to what you decide needs to happen to Christian.
Yeah.
Which,
That's a reasonable ask.
yeah, and I think that's pretty well-rounded and a responsible answer. Not, he was, he was crazy. He didn't mean to do it, so don't, whatever. Like, she's not begging for them to like say he was not guilty. She's saying, you do what you need to do as the judge, but can we please make sure that he's getting the help he needs? I think that's pretty like not selfish of her,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
a court hearing was scheduled for July 21st, but is now on hold while a state psychiatric I can't read today. A court hearing was scheduled for July 21st, but is now on hold while a state psychiatric evaluation is done to determine his mental capacity to stand trial. His attorney said in a second district court motion that their client told them he was at times, quote, being directed by outside sources and voices on where to go and to whom to interact with. Apparently, he would hear noises like a fire alarm or whatever, and he would take that as a sign of where he needed to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
what the heck?
And he told his attorneys that psychosis or the sounds and the voices started a couple days before he committed the murders. So he was on a fast decline. Like,
But didn't he commit the murders a couple days after the divorce was filed?
no, that was a month after. Okay, so let
Sorry.
me put the timeline back.
Okay.
So the murders happened July 8th and 9th. Okay. The divorce was filed in May,
Oh,
the month before. 2 days
okay.
after is when he had the run-in with the UTA officers.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he was released
Sorry.
and put on bail, whatever. And
Okay.
then sometime after he was released is when he started this like weird psychosis thing. And I
Okay.
also did not read anything about him being under the influence of drugs. So I think this was
gonna ask.
a
Yeah.
complete mental breakdown of some kind. I don't know what exactly it is. I don't think they haven't released anything as to what the psychiatric evaluation has determined on that yet.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's see.
It's so crazy how that decline
Happens so fast.
yeah, or at least it can seem like it does, but who knows? Like maybe that's the reason for the divorce,
I
maybe
wondered that too.
there was issues before that kind of led to that, and then he was like, yep, I guess I am this way, and then it was just like a switch flipped and he was all of a sudden very sick.
Yeah. I think there had to have been something mental illness wise that was the motive for divorce, I would say. I mean, there can be any kinds of reasons for someone to file for divorce, but I do think that there was something just because of how fast he declined from in 1 month. I really think that there was something going on that she could have seen as him just being selfish or him just like being controlling maybe or whatever, and she's like, you know what, you're too much for me, like I'm done with this, which is fine. I mean, that's to each their own. You can only handle so much in your relationship, that's fine, but I wonder if those were his signs of saying like he's not
Yeah.
okay and he wasn't even aware that he wasn't okay. Anyway, yeah, so Taele is currently under observation in the Weber County Jail's medical unit to monitor his behavior and to avoid any further attempts to harm himself or others. A competency, oh my goodness, hearing is scheduled or was scheduled for September 8th. which I believe must have either been postponed or is confidential, because I wasn't able to find anything, even in the court documents of any kind, that it happened in general.
Oh, really?
So let's see. So when I have an update on that, when his sentencing hearing is scheduled or happens or whatever, I'll definitely provide an update. But anyway, mental illness and
Wow.
mental breakdowns happen all the time.
Yeah.
Some are aware of their mental illnesses and take medications or seek help for those things, but some don't. Some don't recognize them. And even those around you may not even recognize what you're dealing with. So I got this from psychcentral.com of some troubling signs that you can look out for a loved one or yourself, of signs of a mental crisis. Difficulty in functioning or being able to function, like getting out of bed or doing daily tasks, having challenges to take care of your hygiene, intense or sudden changes in mood, psychosis such as hallucinations or delusions, paranoia, feeling increasingly agitated, angry, or violent, suicidal thoughts or making plans, harming yourself or self-medicating, isolating or withdrawing from others, or severe changes in behavior. Some things that can, sorry, there's a bug in my eye. Things that can cause a mental health crisis can be anything from loss, trauma, changes in relationship, like a divorce, feeling alone, switching or stopping mental health treatments, discrimination, losing a job, failing a class, natural disaster, violence or terrorism, substance
gosh.
abuse, and medical diagnosis. So like
Anybody can have these things.
yeah, like literally
Yeah.
any drastic change in your life can cause someone to feel out of control and totally spiral.
So go to your counselor at school and go to your therapist.
We're advocates for school counselors if you haven't
Yeah.
noticed.
Even though nobody that listens to us is 18 and younger. So
Right. They're like, what?
yeah, so everyone's like, this is like 20 years ago, but
Yeah,
okay.
they're like, that's not helpful to me anymore. So move on. But what you can do if you're starting to feel like you're spiraling, you can go to a walk-in psychiatric agent.
What is that word?
I don't know, words don't make sense. I like can't read. Okay.
That's okay.
Go to a walk-in psychiatric urgent care. Call your
Mhm.
mental health professional if you have one. Go to an ER or regular urgent care, and or call 911 if you believe you or someone else is in immediate danger.
Yes.
Sometimes if you're in a room with someone who's going through something, if it's not a full-on mental crisis, it could be just having a bad day or whatever. There are some things that you can do for someone. I'm one of those people who, if I am with someone who is breaking down, I don't always know what to say, and I don't trust myself to know what to do. So I have some ideas for you.
Okay.
Really, this is for me. So like,
Oh.
if you're like me and can't handle other people's emotions, this is what you do.
Yeah, no, I'm like you, so I'm my ears are wide open for this.
Okay. So this is what you do. Stay calm, speak
Okay.
calmly without raising your voice, and
Mhm.
even make slow motions so you don't startle them or escalate a situation.
Mm.
Listen, like literally you can just listen to what they're saying. You don't have to say
Yeah.
anything. You can just listen. Ask how you can help. Make them feel not alone. Maybe they may not know what they need, but you can say, "Can I call someone for you? Do you need
Mhm.
a ride to the hospital to get checked out? Like, is there something can I call your parents? Can I call your sister? Whatever it is, right?
Like what would support you right
Yeah,
now?
what is more helpful than me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, offer them options like ideas. But be patient if they're not willing to take what your ideas are. They may be easily overwhelmed with any ideas you're coming up with. So if that doesn't work, just give them space.
Yeah.
let them talk. But you don't want them to feel trapped or boxed in. So don't avoid touching someone that's going through like a panic attack or something, because it'll cause them to run, because they'll feel overwhelmed and like
Yeah.
they're being smothered, I guess. So give them space, let them know that you're there, but you can sit in silence if that's what they need.
Yeah.
If there's ever a point though that you feel unsafe, it's okay to leave.
Mhm.
Just
Absolutely.
just make sure that they get the help that they need if you can help it.
Mm.
If you can't be there, if you know that you being there is unsafe, then that's the point that you need to say, I can take you somewhere, but I have to go. Like, this is
Right.
not cool. Anyway, but it's one of those things that, like, I know this was a short story, but it's super important to kind of be aware of your own feelings of like, okay, I know, be self-aware enough to say, I'm not okay, like, before I do anything stupid. And obviously you likely won't get to the point of murdering someone because a higher power told you to purge the city. That's likely not going to happen to most people, but you can get to a point of harming yourself. You could get to a point of just,
Lashing out and whatever.
lashing out to people, burning bridges. And before you get to that point, if you can self-evaluate and say, things are not looking good for me and I'm being a little bit psycho, take a step back, and it's okay to ask for help. Like, I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it's amazing. It's not always easy to get into somebody these days because everyone is like realizing how good like mental health is.
Yeah.
But really, if you need it, search for it, go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can even, I've learned that I can even find some help on mental health podcasts if you can't afford a therapy session. If I find what I need or a topic that makes sense to me, I think podcasts are a great way to go for an immediate something.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
you've suggested podcasts for me when I'm going through like a specific issue. You're like, hey, I found this. You should listen to that. And I
I've done that.
have,
Yeah.
and it helps. Like it helps you at least to realize that like your issue isn't like you're not the only one with that issue. Like
Yeah.
there's a whole podcast about it. So
I know, right? Like, sometimes I have to find podcasts about self-image issues because it's no secret that I'm not nice about myself. I find humor in like making fun of myself, but sometimes I really feel those things. And
yeah,
so
like you
going and finding self-esteem things really help me, and I think like eventually I think it would be good for me to like go and talk to someone about it, especially when I get super depressed about my situation.
yeah.
But it's like, it's not uncommon anymore for everyone to have gone to therapy. Like, it's not taboo. I
No,
grew up thinking it was only for the absolutely crazy. Like,
right.
I literally thought that everyone who went to therapy had gone to a psych ward. I no
Right.
joke thought
A
that.
loony bin.
Yeah. And so like I never thought of it. Anyway, my tangent can be over now. I was just saying that don't be scared. Don't be scared to go get help. It's okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that.
Yeah. Which, and I don't know if we want to put this in, but I think I've talked Josh into going to therapy.
Good.
I think
Good.
it would be so good.
Yeah.
He's
That's
pretty hard
good.
on himself.
Is he going to go?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But he's agreed to it, but I don't think he'll put the effort into actually like finding one or whatever.
What about BetterHelp? Is he willing to do
It's just
that?
expensive and it doesn't take insurance.
It doesn't?
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
Nope.
Okay.
So we'd have to find one in our insurance. And like I found some on that Psychology Today that I sent you, and I think I've sent to a couple of my friends recently. And I sent it to him and I was like, just look. Like, you can just see if there's anyone that piques your interest, like, because it'll tell you about therapists and psychologists in your area and what they
Mhm.
specialize in. So you can kind of see ones that specialize in like teens, working with teens and then working with trauma.
Like
And
mommy problems, daddy problems,
right.
family
And
problems,
there's some
work
that like
problems.
specialize in like life coaching or men's life coaching
Mm.
specifically. So I sent him one of them that I was like, okay, like this, because he's training for a marathon, and
Are we all?
yeah, oh yeah, next year I'm gonna do a 5K. It's gonna be great.
Yep. I'm
Yeah, no,
planning on it. Whether or not I show up.
yeah, that's a whole another story.
Yeah.
But so I think like having more of a coaching approach might be better than like let's sit and talk about your feelings kind of thing,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see if he goes, but I think it would be good because he's pretty hard on
Yeah.
himself. Like every year for his birthday, he's like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not where I want to be. And
Mhm.
like,
Did he just hit his half birthday?
yeah, I think so. February.
So he's having a half birthday crisis.
Yeah. Well, he turned 30 and he cried, which I think I've talked about already, but it's so funny.
Yeah. Watch us. We're giggling. And once we turn 30, we're gonna be like, yeah, it's not cool.
I know I'm gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
Like it's really just kind of funny because I think like he puts so much pressure on himself to like be successful and where he wants to be and what he wants to be providing even. And like I'm just like,
Mhm.
chill out. It's okay, we're doing good. But
Yeah.
like he has a standard. That's my spiel. I'm done with my story. Sorry it was fast, but
Oh,
it's known
no.
as the Utah Purge Killings because he said he needed to purge the city. And I was like, the purge?
The
That's
Purge.
Halloween.
And recent.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good story. I mean, that's
Thanks.
crazy how recent that was. And I hadn't heard of it. Not
You
even a
hadn't?
little. Mm-mm.
And he's like, honestly, like, I know that sounds stupid to be like, and he's just like a young LDS kid. Like, he can never do any wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But like, it's just weird to see a young kid just completely like
Derail.
lose it and like attack someone twice his age. Like,
Well, same with your last story where that 16-year-old kid killed half his family,
yeah,
or more
right.
than half.
What is
But
happening?
I know.
It's the
I
young,
think
like,
there's
I feel
too
like the
much
murders are getting younger
stress.
and younger.
Yeah. You know, yeah. That's
Crazy.
scary. That's sad.
Yeah,
Well, are you ready for my story?
I am. Uh-oh. You
Okay.
froze. You're frozen. You're frozen. You froze for a sec.
What? You're frozen.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, you're frozen. Oh. You're not frozen.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. We just had to like thaw it out.
Yeah. Shake it up a bit. Wake it up.
Right.
If I freeze
All right.
again, I'll just go inside.
Okay. Well,
Let's hear your story.
okay.
Oh no.
Are you ready?
You froze again. Am I freezing?
No.
Hold on. I turned my Wi-Fi on my phone, so maybe if I turn it off, it'll be fine.
Yeah, maybe that's what that was.
It could be the wind too. The wind is picking up.
Oh, well, if you need to go inside, you can.
Okay,
I
well
had to relocate. We allow one relocation each per episode.
and then we just give up.
Yeah, and then we say we'll just record tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're okay now.
Okay. Well, you stop me if you change your mind. No
Okay.
big deal. Okay. So, I'm a little bit nervous about these notes only because I haven't actually read through them
Oh, okay.
completely. I
Yeah.
just like did my notes and said, "Yep, I'm done." Then I never looked back. So
That's funny.
So we'll see how this goes. All right. I am covering St. Anne's Retreat. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's called St. Anne's Retreat. Well, it's in Logan Canyon. It's about a quarter mile past Preston Valley Campground. So if you're familiar with that area, then you probably know where that is. St. Anne's Retreat is pretty much in shambles these days, but it's still there.
Okay.
Sorry, Philly's crying. I'm gonna let him through that door real fast.
Okay,
Sorry,
and I'm
pause.
gonna attach a thing real fast. So
Okay.
break. Mm-hmm.
All right. So St. Anne's Retreat is pretty much in shambles these days, but the ruins of it are still there.
Okay.
There are 7 cabin structures that circle the main cabin, which is slightly bigger than the rest. There's a swimming pool on the property, which is empty, abandoned, and vandalized. But security guards still keep watch, and so there's still security guards there, or at least surveillance there, just to make sure nobody trespasses. In the 90s, it became a place where teens were drawn, like especially drawn to, because of the legends of the dead nuns and the hellhounds. Dun, dun, dun.
Wait, where is it again?
Logan Canyon.
I have heard of this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
The empty pool, does that ring a bell?
Not the
It's
empty
like
pool, just
okay.
specifically Logan and nuns. That's all I recognize.
Nuns are not very common in Utah, so
No.
when they come around, you know where they are.
Yeah, you're like
And at one point,
Logan.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably nuns elsewhere, but they don't get talked about as much.
I've literally never seen a nun in person.
Me either.
Like in the getup.
Like, is that a real outfit? Like you're real. Like you could like quote the Bible like a little bit.
That's a part of their outfit.
Yeah.
Can you recite
then,
scriptures? We're so insensitive. We're like, what nuns?
People
Freaking
that could
Mormons.
recite scriptures just off the top of their head, like, and have it be relevant, just blows my mind.
That is a lot of confusing shit to memorize.
Yeah, and they're like Luke
apply it.
34, and you're like, and somehow it relates, and you're like, how did you pull that out of your butt? Like, who
Right?
knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, nuns. So
nuns.
the place
What
was
a wild
abandoned.
concept.
I know.
Sorry. Okay.
So this place was abandoned by 1987. One night in October of 1997, around 30 teenagers walked onto the property about hearing about the rumors of the old nunnery. These kids came onto the property at different times and in different groups, so not all at once.
Okay.
As they walked through the woods, suddenly they were attacked. They were shot at and ambushed by a gunman, and 3 men tied them together in a circle by their necks so they couldn't escape. Yeah, this took a turn, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's also a true crime story.
Nuns, and I'm like, nuns don't have guns.
Nope. So the nunnery is abandoned and these kids snuck on.
Okay.
So
it's after nun. Post nun has the guns.
Post nun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So they were being held captive at gunpoint and led into the abandoned pool. I'm trying to make this sound scarier.
Yeah, I like it.
Is it working?
Yeah.
All right.
Like you're reading me a goosebump story.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, okay.
All right, cool.
I'm into it. Okay.
So the men claimed that they were security guards for the property, and they began to scream at these children and intimidate them and scare the shit out of them. And at one point, one of the men started yelling at the kids that if they tried to run, he would shoot off their legs. Several hours went by of these kids being held captive by these men. Then finally, these guards called the police and said, "Hey, we've captured a bunch of trespassers. You should come pick them up." And the police said, "Okay, we'll be right there." Click.
Mm-hmm.
Police show up, arrest all these kids, put them in real handcuffs because they
Yeah.
were just put in these like cheap store-bought plastic ones.
Yeah.
Take them to the sheriff's office, and then they were all just cited for trespassing and then released. When the kids went home and told their parents about what had happened, Mama Bears came out and said, "Excuse me, like
You
they were."
don't detain my kid if you're not
Yeah,
a police officer.
exactly. So parents made phone calls and an investigation was launched into exactly what happened. And in the end, the trespassing charges were all dropped, and the security guards that night were charged with aggravated assault and 1 count of forcible sexual abuse.
No.
Mhm. I don't have
Oh.
details about that, but we don't need them.
We don't need them.
Anyway, that happened.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
from so basically, since this place was abandoned to now, this place has always drawn attention to people wanting to go and investigate and see what the creep factor really is.
yeah.
But I haven't told you about why it's creepy yet. So let's go back in time.
Okay.
So, deep in the woods of Logan Canyon, I don't know how to pronounce this name, but I think it's
Give it a shot. I've done it a few times and failed.
Hezekiah. It's Hezekiah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, Hezekiah or
Yeah.
Hezekiah. Anyway, Hezekiah Eastman Hatch built a beautiful log cabin for his family to vacation in the summers back in 1910. The family named the property Hatch Camp. It was used as a family getaway spot until the late 1940s. The Hatch family was extremely wealthy at this point. They had ownership in Paramount Movie Studios,
Wow.
Greyhound, Plaza Hotel, Hilton Hotels, and Madison Square Garden, etc.
Loaded.
Yeah. The family eventually moved to New York, but they still vacationed at their family cabin. They would even invite guests over, like various Hollywood stars and politicians.
Mm-hmm.
In 1951, Boyd Hatch, who was the son of Hezekiah, owned the property at this point, and he decided to donate it. Just because they found they weren't using it enough, they're like, "Oh, let's just get rid of it."
Yeah.
So first, they offered the property as a gift to the Utah State University, and then they offered it to the LDS Church, but neither of them accepted the offer. Why? I don't know. But
LDS Church is always into getting property.
I know, and I'm like, especially like in Logan, but maybe they just didn't want. I don't know. It's just kind of weird because usually they want like camp space too for like their girls' camps and stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause they have property like in Heber and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why they took it down or why they didn't accept it, but
Okay.
anyway. So the Catholic Church took him up on that offer, and they decided they would use the property as a retreat for nuns, and they renamed it to St. Anne's Retreat.
Okay.
It's rumored, and I underlined the word rumored because there's no historical basis on this.
You couldn't
Story.
verify it. Okay.
Nobody can really. So
Okay.
it's just a rumor. So I'm not saying this actually happened, but
Okay.
it very well could have. Who's to say?
Who knows?
I don't know. The Catholic Church used the building as a nunnery, which we knew, but it wasn't a typical nunnery. Because of its location, the Catholic Church used the nunnery as a punishment for nuns who had broken their vows. They were essentially cast away or hidden and shamed for what they had done wrong. The most common sin was that the nuns who became pregnant were sent there to carry their babies to term.
Oh.
Then, after birth, the mothers were not allowed to keep their babies, and they would be sent for adoption. They would be placed for adoption at various places around Utah.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I lost my spot. Sorry, hold on.
how a church or organization can force you to like
Live your life a certain way.
have your like to give your child up
Yeah.
blows my mind. Like they can't have
Mhm.
that kind of power. That's so crazy to
No.
me.
Right? Anyway, so eventually one of the nuns had had enough because they thought that same thing. They're like, they should not have this power. She had just given birth to her newborn son, and she knew in order to keep him, she needed to escape before he was taken away from her.
Yeah.
With her baby in her arms, she snuck out in the middle of the night and ran as fast as she could into the woods and hid where she thought no one could find her or find them, I guess.
Yeah.
Within minutes, she began to hear people on foot looking for her. She heard the head nun and heard the head nun kept yelling for her, screaming, you need to come back here, this and that. Then she started to hear the head nun start to say, and when we find the both of you, we'll kill you.
Ah.
So the nun who escaped heard this and started to panic, and in a desperate moment decided to hide her baby son inside of a bush. Then she ran as far away in the opposite direction as she could from him and made as much noise as she could to distract the search party
Mm-hmm.
to, draw their attention away. Because I'm assuming that at this point it probably wasn't easy to keep a newborn baby quiet.
Right.
So if they're looking for her, I'm sure they would hear him. And
Yeah.
anyway, so the search party heard the commotion that she was making and began chasing after her. She ran as fast as she could through the woods and eventually she lost them. She ran back to where she hid her baby boy, only to find that he was gone.
Oh.
She frantically ran back to the nunnery to find her son, and before she spoke to anyone, she found him. But her worst fears became reality. He was floating face down in the pool. She screamed and cried and fell to her knees. She cursed the head nun, the church, and the people who had killed her baby boy. And then she walks over to a bush known to have poisonous berries on them and ate them. She died soon after.
If that's true. Hmm.
Boy, oh boy, right?
How a church can say that they're of God and they hurt a baby. Sorry.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Nope.
Like,
That is
another
so
version,
heartbreaking.
isn't it? Like to know that, like, I mean, it might not be true, but to think like it could be true
It could
because
be.
religious people are crazy sometimes.
Especially if she's being punished because she had a baby
Like why she was there in the first place.
yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes when sorry. I feel like sometimes when like organizations, churches, whatever, when they have a person in power, whether that be a head nun, whether that be a bishop, whether that be a priest or whatever, if they have the wrong person in that leadership role and they
Mhm.
abuse their power, I think that's completely possible that happened.
Yeah. And then it got covered up as
Because
it's just a legend.
yeah. But I think it's completely possible that they use that as a punishment.
Yep. I think so. That's scary and sad.
Yeah.
Another version of this story is that St. Anne's Retreat was a getaway for nuns and priests to go. So it wasn't there for punishment, it was more of a getaway, like the name suggests.
Okay.
And it was somewhat common that a nun would become pregnant by a priest during their relaxing time.
Mm-hmm.
And to hide the baby, they would carry the baby to term here or there and then drown them in the pool and then throw them into the well on the property. Because yes, there is also an abandoned and sealed off well.
But also, yeah, I mean, I could see that being possible because like having a pregnancy as a nun is shameful. And like you see even like teens, like there are stories of teens who get pregnant and they kill their babies because they don't want to be shamed and they don't want to be,
Right.
have anyone know. And so they take care of it how they need to take care of it. And that's not the way. Adoption
Right.
would be more the way. But
Right. Ugh, it's so scary. So
Sad.
rumor has it that since this incident, the Catholic Church decided to convert the property into a youth camp known as the Boys Club of Weber. It was a youth camp until 1987 when the church shut it down because of the constant trespassing and vandalism. So it also makes you wonder, it's like, where would these stories be coming from? You know,
Yeah.
if they're getting such hype about it that people are trespassing so much that you had to shut down your program because of it. It's
Yeah.
like there has to be some thread of truth to
Yeah.
it. Anyway, in 1992, the property was sold again, but this time it was to a family who dedicated their time into fixing it and turning it into a campsite. They renamed it to Pine Glen Cove. Unfortunately, because of issues with vandalism, they couldn't keep up with repairs and eventually they decided to sell it.
Oh,
It was going through owner after this, it seems like.
yeah.
In 2006, it was purchased by a man named Chad Godfrey, but just 4 years later, he realized the property was extremely difficult to maintain because of the constant vandalism, and he also put the property up for sale.
Mm.
Now it's owned by the National Forest Service. As of 2015, the property has been rented out to Mark Nielsen, who interestingly was issued a special use permit that would allow him to open up whatever he was going to do there to the public. So many people are wondering, what is it going to be? Is it going to be a campsite, a museum, or a haunted attraction? Because people want to go there for that.
Yeah.
So people are wondering, is he going to let people go there for that? You know?
Right.
So we don't know yet. The Logan, and I will let people know. Once I know, you'll know. Or if you know before I know, let me know. The Logan locals say this is simply a place you shouldn't go to because of the dark presence you feel while you're there. Some have claimed that they've seen a large black dog. Some described it as being like a Doberman with red glowing eyes.
Oh, scary.
Yeah, so some would say that that's like a hellhound. Some have said that they've heard the sound of growling or a dog snarling, and there's nothing there.
I could see a Doberman being a hellhound, even though they're like supposed to be pretty sweet dogs and like whatever. I could see that because they're really intimidating looking and they're huge.
Yeah. And that's all what demons are about, is just being big and scary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
So
aren't the three-headed dog thing in
those are
Hercules?
Rottweilers.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I'll have to
Maybe
watch
I'm
it.
wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, because like as soon as I imagined it first, I thought Rottweiler, but then also my memory changed it to Doberman. I'm like,
Yeah, because I'm like
it's a
thinking of like
Doberman.
the pointy ears, like straight up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Is it raining over there?
The wind is a little
I think it's
intense.
like downpouring over here because I can hear it hitting my door.
You should open it and see.
Okay, hold on. Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, it's pouring out there. I'm glad I came inside. It's
That's
probably coming
awesome.
right towards you.
Here, let me see what my weather app says.
Because the clouds look mean. That's why I was like, there's a storm coming.
Yeah,
Those
the
clouds
wind
are,
got
like,
really
black.
mean out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that's probably the wind that I was dealing with right before I came inside. Because I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Oh yeah, it says it's supposed to be rain and lightning starts at 9, but rain is supposed to start shortly.
See, it said here that it's going to be done with lightning at 9. So I bet the storm is coming right to you.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, of course, Ghost Adventures has visited this property.
Oh, right.
That was season 12, episode 9. And I did not do a play-by-play of their episode this time. You guys can just go watch it. I figured I didn't want to piggyback too much off of them, but they do have an episode. So if you want to go see what they did there,
Season
it's
12, episode 9, you said?
yes,
Okay.
season 12, episode 9. So people who have done paranormal investigations there have claimed that the energy is always very heavy. It's so heavy that it actually makes it feel like it's hard for you to move your body, like move your limbs and your arms.
Interesting.
Yeah. Some say that at night in the woods nearby, you can sometimes hear a woman screaming and often see an apparition of a nun or a woman in black.
That's so scary.
Near the pool, people say you sometimes can hear a baby crying. Some have heard the sound of children giggling or talking in the woods, and of course, when you look, no one's there. Many have experienced odd temperature changes throughout the property, and someone said that one time they were walking by the abandoned pool. When they glanced over for a moment, the pool was completely filled with water, and when they did a double take, it was completely empty again.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Some said that if you walk closely near the edge of the pool, you might feel like there are cold, wet hands grabbing your ankles.
Oh my gosh. That is the worst. Like to visualize that, that's the worst.
Right. And what makes this place so creepy is that there are so many different stories that come from there, and none of them are verifiable. So no one knows what really happened there. The end.
Well, I feel like churches are so secretive, especially when like stuff happens on their land.
Yeah.
Don't they
I
don't
saw
have to report it.
Yeah.
They might like they're not going to report stuff that happens on their land because then they
They'll get
get
shut
in
down.
trouble and whatever.
Or sued or whatever.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I think sketchy stuff happens at all privately owned church and any church facility. I think sketchy stuff happens all the time.
Yeah. I think so too. And that's the scary part. It's like, I mean, I don't know. We've already talked about like the LDS stuff coming out recently.
Yeah.
But it's just scary because it's like, I mean, yeah, like that's happening and we know it's happening, but it's so scary to think like how much more is there that we don't know about. It makes me think about when they say like there's always a spider 10 feet from you or something. It's like there's always going to be some pervert 10 feet from you, you know? Like,
right?
It's like they're everywhere.
They are. You can't trust anybody. Like it's terrifying. I hate that. I hate that thought. Like especially doing a story about, I mean, we've heard Ted Bundy over and over again, but like how he was a nice guy and no one would have guessed. And I say this almost every episode, but it drives me nuts to think about it because I'm like, no, bad people should look like they're bad people. Like that's
it's a part, damn it.
Exactly. Like what's in your heart should reflect on your face so we can know.
Don't bullshit me. Don't catfish me. Yes. I'm not here for it.
Yes. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Hey, but guess what though?
What?
I figured that we wanted to get our outro out. So I made notes.
Oh,
and I'm just gonna read. I know. So I'm just gonna read my notes for an outro and you can just be like, yep.
Okay. Sounds good.
Or you can chime in if I forget something. So I might have. There's a lot. Here we go. So everybody, thank you for listening to episode 29. I want to talk about On Deck at Dusk for a second for October, because October On Deck at Dusk is going to air on October 1st on Patreon. So remember, each month we are releasing these awesome paranormal or true crime international stories. They come out on Patreon on the 1st of each month. So if you're a Patreon member, thank you so much for subscribing, signing up, being a donor, all that, and watch those episodes. This episode airs on October 2nd, so the day after that one comes out.
1 year anniversary episode.
Yeah, and because our first episode was on October 1st, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. So congrats everybody, we've made it a year.
Thanks for sticking around.
Yep. Episode 30 will come out on October 16th. So follow us on social media at Haunt and Cold Podcast on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Visit our website to submit your own personal paranormal or true crime stories and purchase merch. And what do we have for merch? Well, we have a Moon Lake card charm. As you know, Moon Lake was our very first episode. So April has made a wooden moon card charm that has engraved Moon Lake episode 1. And then on the inside, it has a little like charm filled with Moon Lake sand on the inside that you can hang
Yeah.
from your car mirror. And that's only $25. So if you're thinking about a gift for somebody, if somebody loves us that much, they want a gift.
Or if they
of our
like
merch.
Lake. I mean, it doesn't even have to be us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Exactly. Yes.
Yes.
Or you can treat yourself and buy it for yourself.
Yeah.
That's cool too. There's also a Haunt and Cold keychain with our cute little ghostly guy on there. That's only $7. And then we have awesome beanies in different colors like red, blue, black, tan, and gray. And they just have a patch on them that say Haunt and Cold. Those are $20. So purchasing merch and telling your friends and family about us is a great way to support us and to help our podcast grow. And I speak for the both of us when I say thank you so much to everyone who has made this possible and listened to us and stayed loyal. And we can't wait for this next year.
Yeah. Like for real, thank you for listening. Like our podcast is not the biggest out there. It's obviously not even in Utah. Like it's not the biggest, but it's really cool to see it grow, even though it's slow going. It's cool to see it grow. It's fun to see new listeners come in and engage with us. And thank you for those who are on Patreon, because that's a big support for us as well. So
oh, and shout out to our new Patreon member.
Yes, Amanda, welcome.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
She's joined the club.
Yeah, she's
Now
joined
she
the
gets
club.
to see everything.
She's cruising through the episodes and enjoying it, hopefully. So.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, join Patreon and you'll get to see what our dad, Bree, and Amanda get to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right. Well, I'll see you over there.
Okay.
And
thanks for listening.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.